In just 89 seconds, $3.8 million in undisclosed foreign payments would end the most controversial FBI director nomination in American history. Jasmine Crockett didn't hesitate when she opened a classified financial folder during Kash Patel's confirmation hearing. She didn't need to. The Treasury Department documents spoke for themselves, revealing a web of international money transfers that would disqualify Patel from any security clearance, let alone running America's premier law enforcement agency. The look on his face when she read the bank routing numbers said everything about the difference between public patriotism and private profit. What did those classified documents reveal that made the most ambitious intelligence operative in Washington look like a foreign agent? At exactly 11:34 a.m. on April 18, 2025, the Senate Intelligence Committee chamber buzzed with confirmation hearing tension. Unlike any in modern memory, soundproof walls, restricted access, and 16 cameras positioned to capture every uncomfortable moment. As senators questioned Trump's most controversial cabinet pick, the air crackled with classified electricity and barely contained national security concerns. Jasmine Crockett walked into the secure hearing room like a prosecutor who'd spent months following an international money trail. Charcoal blazer pressed to intelligence community perfection, multiple folders marked with classification stamps, tablet computer loaded with Treasury Department files. Her expression was calm, controlled, absolutely deadly. She carried herself like someone who'd uncovered secrets that could reshape American intelligence forever. Kash Patel sat at the witness table like an intelligence operative carved from pure ambition and deep state paranoia. Dark suit, immaculate, American flag pin gleaming. He shuffled through prepared talking points about reforming the FBI and draining the intelligence swamp. His practiced confidence suggested he was ready for another day of Democratic attacks that would bounce harmlessly off his Trump loyalty and media-trained deflections. But today would expose the difference between intelligence theater and actual intelligence work. 3 classified elements hung in the committee room: air, like gathering storm clouds; the sealed Treasury files on Crockett's desk; Patel's suspicious silence about his private consulting work; and the unusual presence of FBI counterintelligence officials in the gallery. The hearing began with Chairman Mark Warner's opening remarks about the critical importance of FBI leadership, free from foreign influence, standard national security rhetoric. Republican senators launched into softball questions about Patel's government experience and commitment to law enforcement. Everything proceeded exactly as his confirmation team had scripted, until Crockett's turn arrived. "Mr. Patel, thank you for your willingness to serve," she began, her voice steady as classified protocols required. "I'd like to discuss your financial disclosures and potential conflicts of interest." Patel nodded confidently. He'd prepared for financial questions. "Excellent. Then you can explain the $3.8 million in payments from foreign entities during your time in private consulting." The secure room temperature seemed to drop 10 degrees instantly. "I'm not sure I understand the question, Senator," Patel replied, though his confidence flickered like a dying security clearance. Crockett opened her classified folder, revealing Treasury Department documents bearing multiple intelligence community authentication seals. Finson Report, SR 2024-7841, Suspicious Activity Report filed by JPA Morgan Chase regarding unusual wire transfers to Patel Strategic Consulting between January 2021 and November. She held up the first document. $3.8 million in total transfers from entities traced to foreign intelligence services. "Would you like me to read the countries of origin?" Patel's face went completely white. "Senator, my consulting work was completely above board and properly disclosed." "Was it? Because according to these Treasury records, you failed to report 17 separate payments exceeding $10,000 each. That's a felony under the Foreign Agents Registration Act." The committee room fell into absolute silence. Even the stenographer had stopped typing. Crockett turned to another document. Transfer number 1, $3,000 from Crimson Holdings, a shell company traced to Russian intelligence fronts. Transfer date, March 15. She looked directly at Patel. "What services did you provide to Russian intelligence worth $3? That's completely false. I never worked for Russian intelligence." Then explain the bank records. She held up another page. Transfer number 2. $280,000 from Dubai Strategic Partners, an entity linked to UAE intelligence operations. Transfer date, July 8th. The devastating financial precision was surgical, relentless, and absolutely classified. Transfer number 3. $420,000 from Beijing Consulting Group, a front organization for Chinese Ministry of State Security Operations. Transfer date, November 20. Patel's intelligence operative composure was cracking visibly. These allegations are completely fabricated. Mr. Patel, these aren't allegations. These are Treasury Department suspicious activity reports filed by American banks who are legally required to report potential money laundering and foreign agent activity. She opened her tablet computer. I have the complete financial trail. 17 different payments from 12 different countries. $3.8 million total. All undisclosed in your FBI background investigation. The committee room erupted in controlled chaos. Republican senators demanded to see the classified documents. Democratic members called for immediate suspension of the hearing. FBI counterintelligence officials began frantically texting their headquarters. But through the chaos, Crockett's voice remained steady as a classified briefing. The American people deserve an FBI director who isn't financially compromised by foreign intelligence services. Mr. Patel clearly doesn't meet that standard. 89 seconds. That's how long it took from her first question to Patel's complete exposure. As a potential foreign agent, Chairman Warner immediately called for a classified executive session. The public portion of the hearing was suspended indefinitely. Patel was escorted from the committee room by FBI security personnel for what the Bureau called additional background screening. Within hours, the classified revelations had leaked to major news outlets through carefully worded intelligence community sources. CNN's Jim Sciutto led with explosive allegations rock FBI director confirmation as classified financial documents surface. The Washington Post published a deep dive into Patel's consulting empire, revealing a complex web of shell companies and foreign payments that had somehow escaped initial vetting. The New York Times obtained additional Treasury documents showing the foreign payments continued even after Patel knew he was being considered for the FBI position. Most damaging was the revelation that several payments came from countries actively conducting intelligence operations against the United States. Former CIA Director John Brennan called it the most serious compromise of a potential FBI director in American history. By evening, Kash Patel's FBI nomination was effectively dead. 9 Republican senators announced they could not support his confirmation pending a complete FBI investigation into his foreign financial ties. Senator Marco Rubio, normally a Trump loyalist, called the revelations deeply concerning and potentially disqualifying. Most significantly, the FBI's own counterintelligence division opened a formal investigation into Patel's foreign contacts and financial relationships. The Bureau investigating its own potential director became a national embarrassment that dominated headlines for weeks. Patel's response came at 8 p.m. through a hastily arranged press conference outside his Virginia home. Under harsh lights, looking like a man whose security clearance had just evaporated, he appeared desperate and defiant. The documents released today are part of a deep state conspiracy to prevent real FBI reform, he said, his voice shaking with barely controlled anger. I have never worked for foreign governments or compromised American interests. But his usual media-trained confidence was gone. His talking points felt rehearsed and increasingly paranoid. The man who'd built his career attacking the intelligence community now looked like someone who needed their protection. Meanwhile, Crockett appeared on Anderson Cooper 360, looking exactly as composed as she had during the hearing. Anderson, this isn't about politics, she said, her voice steady and measured. It's about national security. The FBI director has access to America's most sensitive intelligence. They cannot be someone who's received millions from foreign intelligence services. How did you obtain these classified Treasury documents? Through proper oversight channels. The Senate Intelligence Committee has constitutional authority to review all information relevant to national security nominations. These documents were provided by Treasury's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network as part of standard background screening. Cooper leaned forward. "What's your response to claims this is a partisan attack?" Crockett's slight smile could have cut through classified steel. "Bank records don't have political affiliations. Anderson, 3.8 million foreign payments is either properly disclosed or it isn't." In Mr. Patel's case, it clearly wasn't. The interview clip garnered 18 million views within 12 hours. 3 days later, the final blow came from an unexpected source: the FBI itself. The Bureau's Counterintelligence Division concluded that Patel's foreign financial relationships represented significant security concerns that would prevent him from obtaining the security clearance required for FBI director. The assessment was leaked to multiple news outlets simultaneously, suggesting broad intelligence community opposition to his nomination. The leaked FBI assessment detailed not just the undisclosed payments, but ongoing financial relationships with foreign entities that continued into. Most damaging, the report revealed that several foreign intelligence services had specifically targeted Patel for recruitment during his private sector years. Faced with opposition from his own potential employees, Trump was forced to withdraw Patel's nomination on April 23, just 5 days after Crockett's devastating hearing performance. The withdrawal statement was remarkably brief. Kash Patel has decided to withdraw his name from consideration to focus on clearing his name from false allegations and returning to private sector work. 6 weeks later, federal prosecutors in Virginia announced a criminal investigation into Patel's consulting activities and potential violations of foreign agent registration laws. The case was built largely on the Treasury documents Crockett had presented during that April hearing. The investigation revealed a pattern of foreign influence operations that extended far beyond undisclosed payments. Internal communications showed foreign intelligence services had specifically cultivated Patel as an asset, believing his potential appointment to FBI director would provide unprecedented access to American intelligence operations. 9 months later, Kash Patel was indicted on charges of failing to register as a foreign agent, money laundering, and conspiracy to defraud the United States. The indictment detailed a sophisticated foreign influence operation that had targeted multiple Trump administration officials. During his eventual sentencing hearing, the federal judge made a point that resonated throughout the intelligence community. "Mr. Patel, your actions represent a fundamental betrayal of the national security trust. Your financial relationships with foreign intelligence services disqualify you not just from FBI leadership, but from any position requiring public trust." Jasmine Crockett, meanwhile, became a national security hero within the intelligence community. Current and former CIA, FBI, and NSA officials privately praised her for preventing what they called the most dangerous compromise of American intelligence leadership in history. The moment also established new standards for cabinet confirmation hearings involving national security positions. The Patel standard required complete financial disclosure and foreign contact reporting, with criminal penalties for omissions. But perhaps the most significant impact was on foreign influence operations themselves. The exposure of Patel's financial relationships led to a comprehensive review of foreign targeting of American officials, resulting in new counterintelligence protocols and disclosure requirements. During a classified briefing to the Intelligence Committee 6 months later, FBI Director Christopher Wray noted that Crockett's investigation had prevented a potentially catastrophic compromise of American intelligence operations. The lasting impact of those 89 seconds continued to reshape American counterintelligence. New financial monitoring systems were implemented to track potential foreign influence operations. Enhanced background screening procedures were established for all national security positions. Most importantly, it demonstrated that foreign influence operations could still be detected and defeated when Congress exercised proper oversight and demanded accountability from nominees seeking positions of public trust. In a rare public interview with Foreign Affairs magazine, Crockett reflected on the national security implications of that April afternoon. "People ask if I planned to destroy Kash Patel's nomination that day," she said from her secure Capitol Hill office. "The truth is, I planned to protect American national security." Ms. Patel's foreign financial relationships made him unsuitable for any position requiring security clearance. let alone FBI director. She paused, looking at the classified briefing materials on her desk. Sometimes the most patriotic thing you can do is ask hard questions about who we trust with our nation's secrets. Mr. Patel's answers revealed he couldn't be trusted with America's most sensitive intelligence. The broader implications for American democracy were profound. The Patel case demonstrated how foreign adversaries had systematically targeted potential government officials for recruitment and compromise. It showed the critical importance of thorough background investigations and financial disclosure requirements. National security doesn't always wear uniforms or carry classified badges. Sometimes it walks into a Senate hearing room with Treasury Department documents and asks simple questions about foreign money that changes everything. What happens when foreign influence meets congressional oversight? What happens when undisclosed payments confront public scrutiny? What happens when someone seeking to lead American intelligence has already been compromised by foreign intelligence? The answer was written in 89 seconds. That saved American national security. If this story inspired you, don't just scroll, like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Here, truth doesn't knock. It enters with classified evidence and leaves with protected democracy. What's the most important moment of congressional oversight you've witnessed? Drop it below.